back. I'm Calvin, Statue Fanatic, here with another review. And today, we're not only going to just do a review, we're going to do an unboxing of this guy. This is from Street Fighter V. This is from the from PCS Collectibles. I'm really happy and excited to be able to unbox this guy. I don't normally do unboxings, but this will be my first real major unboxing of a statue. And I'm excited to go and do that. But before we do that, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to talk about the packaging and the box. And then we're going to go ahead and unbox it, and then we're going to do the review, and then I'm going to rate it the way that I always do. And let's get started with this bad boy. So first of all, as far as the box is concerned, it's really nice. And one thing that caught my attention about this box is that it's small. Yes, it's small. And this is a full quarter scale statue in a really small box, so it's possible to do it. Those boxes do not have to be ginormous. So at the front of the box here, you have a picture of Ken. From Street Fighter. This is the portrait where he's not smiling. Let's see here if we turn it around. Another picture of him, and it says PCS Collectible. And on the back, it has Ken stats. And this is about him, his fighting style, all that kind of cool stuff. And again, the same thing on the side. And on the top, it says Ken. And then I think that's about it for the box. Let's stop talking about the box and get this damn thing open. So, here we go. First thing in the box, certificate of authenticity. There's 300 of these guys made, and that's a really nice touch that PCS adds. And here we have the classic white gloves. We're actually going to use those to handle this statue. All right, we got the base. Let's go ahead and open that bad boy. Let me put the gloves on here, because I can see with this particular matte base, I'm going to see a bunch of fingerprints as soon as I touch it. He actually does come with two portraits, it looks like. One where he's got this sinister little smile. And then he has this second portrait. And we'll take that one off and put this one here. We'll sit that there. Now that we've got this guy unboxed, let's take a look at the statue. We'll do it like we always do. We'll take a look at the sculpt and the design. We'll look at the paint application, and most importantly, we'll talk about value. So getting started with this guy, the first thing we'll do is look at the dimensions. He is a quarter scale statue, so he stands approximately 18.5 inches tall from the bottom of the base to the top of his head. And then as far as the width of the length of the base, it's about 12 inches across here, and then if you look at the width of the base, it's about 9 inches across. So pretty substantial statue. Now let's get started with the sculpt and the design of this guy. Overall, I think they did a really good job, and I'm going to start with the base and go up, okay? So as far as the base is concerned, it's a very simple base, designed very simple, except for these little designs that they have in here. And the advantage to that is you get to focus just on the character. You don't have to worry about all of the other things that are going on the base. So Ken becomes the star. Moving up to the base, up to like his feet or whatever, what I thought was interesting about this was that his toenails, for example, actually look like real toenails here. It's pretty cool. Real nice sculpt and design there. And you can see some of the sculpting from where his feet and then the creases there. It looks pretty cool. And as far as design is concerned, some of the design I love about this is that it comes with mixed media, and this is a really well stitched outfit that he's wearing. It doesn't look cheap or anything like that. The stitching looks really well, and the material feels really solid in terms of being sturdy. It doesn't feel like a cheap piece of garment or anything. I like that about that. And then as you move up in terms of the sculpt and the design, if you look at his arms and his biceps, his forearms, a lot of muscles in his arms, and you can see all of the detail in the muscles as far as that's concerned. It looks like he's flexing almost. And then if you look at the veins in his arms, you can actually see those things sculpted as well. Looks really nice. And then if you look at the gloves that he's wearing, you can see the padding on the gloves here and the padding here. That's sculpted. Really nice touch. I like that. As far as this is concerned, nice sculpting, and the same thing with his fingernails, all sculpted really well. Lots of detail there, and the same thing with the right arm as with the left arm. I love that. That's really cool. And as far as the body is concerned, you can see all of the muscles in his body, his deltoids, his biceps, all of that stuff. You can see his midsection here. You can see his abs, all sculpted really well. And then these lines that you see, even though they're painted red, they're actually sculpted as well. These are raised sculpts that are sculpted in here, making it look almost like material. You can see stitching along each of the lines. That's really cool. And then as far as the body suit that's painted on him, there's a lot of texture, and I like that too. It gives it a really cool, authentic feel, I guess, if you will, to it. It doesn't look like just some smooth paint job. There's a lot of texture to it. The same thing with his skin. There's texture on his skin. I like that as well. And if you move all the way up to his portrait, the portrait looks really nice too. The eyebrows are sculpted on it. Looks really cool. And then as far as this portrait is concerned, it comes with two different portraits. You can see the one where he's got this grimace on his face, and then there's the one where he doesn't. Then the hair, again, that's sculpted really nicely as well. But the one thing that I did not like about the head sculpt was the way it connects to the neck. You can actually see the line here where it connects, and I don't like that too much because I can see it and notice it. Would love it if it was kind of like a seamless transition in some way there. And especially around the ear, you can notice it a little bit more. But other than that, it looks really nice. Love the eyes, the way the eyes are sculpted around here. That looks nice as well. So as far as the sculpt is concerned, pretty happy with that. And then we'll start with the paint application, and then we'll start, as far as the paint application, we'll start from the head all the way down. I'm gonna look at this portrait here. What I loved about this paint application was when I looked around, I couldn't find anything wrong. I couldn't find any areas where there were mistakes, things spilled over on it. The eyebrows are painted almost perfect. There's no black touching his skin, and vice versa. The same thing with his teeth. His lips are a different color than his face, and that color doesn't touch his teeth at all, which is really awesome. And the same thing with his hair around his ears. There are no spillover paint mingling or anything like that. And he has this little tie that's holding his ponytail up, and that also is painted black. It's the same on both portraits. Neither one of those have any paint that's spilled over, so it looks really nice. Going down to the paint application on his body, the same thing. Those red lines that I told you about, all painted really nicely. They aren't going outside of the line, and they're so finely painted until they're not even covering the stitching in most parts from where I can tell. And the same thing with the paint application on his skin. If you look at the muscles, actually, if you look at the veins on his arm, those are painted differently. They're shaded differently, so they actually look really cool. They stand out from the rest of his body, which is pretty awesome there. So overall, the top half of his body, the paint application looks fantastic. And the same thing continues all the way down to his toes here. Looks really cool. The paint, flesh tones, and the way his nails are painted, giving it more of a kind of a realistic look, even though he's like a character. I like that a lot. It's pretty freaking awesome. This guy looks fantastic. Now, what I didn't mention, I'm going to jump back to the sculpt for a second. What I did mention was, even though he's wearing mixed media, his entire body is sculpted, not just the part that you can see, and I like that as well. It's a really solid piece. And overall, he looks fantastic. I think PCS did a great job with this. And if you're a Street Fighter fan and you're a Ken fan, it's kind of a no-brainer. He looks fantastic. So I would definitely recommend you picking him up if you're a fan. Let's rate this guy now. The first thing we always rate is the box and the packaging. This particular packaging I was really a fan of. For the most part, I was a fan because it came in a really small box. You got a full-size statue, a quarter-scale statue, and a small box. So it makes it really easy to store the box. When it comes to sculpt and design, I think the design and the sculpt of this was really great. I loved it. There was this one small issue, and that was where the head touched the neck, and you can see that seam. And because of that, I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. And now when it comes to the paint application, now I was really impressed with the paint application. It looked great all over it from head to toe. So that's a 10. And then let's talk about value. This bad boy is only $374. And I say only because when you compare it to the astronomical prices of so many other statues being twice and 3 times that, this is a bargain. So the value for what you're getting, I think, is a 10 out of 10. And that, my friend, concludes my review of Ken from Street Fighter V from the Street Fighter line from PCS Collectibles. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to stay on top of the latest in the world of collecting and pop culture, please head over to mcecentral.com. That's Marvelous Collectible and Entertainment. So until next time, peace.